Hey everybody, it's Jamie from Plum Island Sea Cabin and we are at the beach. We are at the beach and we are super stoked because the Emerson rocks are open. Let's go shelling. So today is a negative low tide and we have a lot of beach to cover. Look at all this new space we have to roam in. Now that things are opening up, I can't wait to take you all on adventures all down the 11 miles of amazing coastline. Can't wait to get my feet back in the sand over here. Down here, it looks like there might be an Atlantic surf clam hiding out in the sand. It's a good sized one. Put that back in there, bury him back up. Just turned around over here. It looks like there's a cute little basket whelk. I do love these. Looks like it was drilled through by another predatory snail. That's a really cute basket whelk. Great shell to fill a jar with. Look at this pile of stuff just waiting for us. Oh, look at this moonsnail. With some seaweed. Because it does have the eggs on it, we are going to leave this here. But there are plenty of other things that we can explore together. Looks like some crab carapace, a bunch of hard-shell clams, surf clams, bunch of things down here. Really interesting little pieces of beech wood, some bugs on it. Some really good tide pools here that are built up around some of the larger rocks. And why I like these is because a lot of stuff gets trapped around the base. So when I find ones like this, I kind of swing around the bottoms of them, seeing what could be trapped in there. So you can see, I don't know if you can see that because of the sun glare, but there is a huge surf clam down there. I've had situations where there have been mega moons. So let's see if we can get in here without completely falling into the water. But this is huge. It's alive, but it's a really good sized surf clam. In addition to over here, it's a nice moon. So yeah, a lot of times when there's these huge rocks like this with tide pools built up around them, I like to explore the bases. So we were wrong about the Emerson rocks. We just tried to get over there and the plover warden actually blew the whistle at us. So just because the signs are down doesn't mean the beaches are open. Emerson rocks are still closed this week, so we're heading back in the other direction to do some shelling. So kind of bummed out again, but it's going to be happening soon. The beaches will open soon. It's bound to happen. I'm going to enter the water down here and see if there are any sand dollars straggling. Oh my goodness, I am hoping and praying that this Stimsoni collis is intact because it looks like it's a good size. So just walking through the tide pools and I see this here. Ah, it is busted. So these are one of the shells that are harder to find fully intact here on the island. We have found a couple, and a friend of mine, Beth, who shells with me every once in a while on Plum Island, found an amazing one over the last winter. So if I can find that footage, I will put it up on the screen for you. But it was pretty amazing Stimsoni, one that I've never seen that large and that fully intact. Holy cow, is this a mega moon? This looks huge if it is. Almost looks like a rock. Holy cow. Oh my goodness. This might be a record breaker. It's not the prettiest shell I've ever seen, but once we clean it up, oh my goodness. This is huge. Look at the size of this. Let me get the mud out of this. This is one I am going to clean up, and I am going to show you what it looks like later, because I don't think you can get the full essence of what it will look like, but that is an old moon, and it is huge. You can tell it's been buried for a while, but I'm going to take this home and scrub it up. I know that it doesn't look pretty now, but I'm really excited about it because I know it's going to clean up really well. So that was a really cool find because it was laying next to a rock, and as you can see, it looks just like the rocks look. So I'm really surprised I was able to spot that, but it is really nice. It does have some slipper limpets on it. We'll make sure that we take those off before we leave. But that is a really large moon shell. Holy cow, I'm excited about this. In the rocks over here, and there's a bunch of cool things down here in the water. Another one of those little basket walks. This one does have a little resident hermit crab in there. You can see his little eyes and legs. Don't want to scare him too much, but do want to check out your nice home here. So that is really nice basket whelk shell. We did find a vacant one earlier that we are taking home with us, but this one is going to stay here. So we will let this little one go. There you go. Beautiful dog whelk. Also has a little inhabitant. It's a dog whelk there. And do have a little moon here, which is also occupied. So we will leave this here as well. Very little free real estate going on here lately. Everything seems taken. So the real estate market is pretty hot here in the tide pools these days. Holy cow, another mega moon. So I just found that giant one, and I looked down and it looks like there's another one here trapped in the rocks. Doesn't look as big. Yeah, it's definitely not as big as the other one we just found, and it does have a little bit of a break in it, but it looks like there's a ton of them over here. I see another one right over there, so let's go check that one out. So we just made it over here, and here it is. This is actually a really nice one with some really great coloring on it. Nobody home, so it is fair game. See if I can get the sun off of it a little bit, but this looks like it's a hot spot for moons, the larger ones, so we're gonna stay over here for a little while and check things out. So again, this stuff right here, this scrubs off really nicely, so I'll show you these once I clean them up. But there's another one right over there, so we're gonna go grab that. This one's a little bit older. Looks like it's covered with some byssus, so we're going to leave this here and see what else we can find. So still out here on the tide pools, and it looks like there's a good angel wing down here. It's a nice shell. These I've seen in Florida, and they can get up to, I think, 7 or 8 inches. So there's a true angel wing and a false angel wing. And the ones in Florida are huge and massive. The ones here I don't find that often, but when I do, that's usually the size we find. The massive dog walk down here, really big, but I'd be shocked if it didn't have a hermit in it. Ooh, and another huge moon coming up. Yep, there's a hermit here. It's a big moon, but look at the size of this moon shell coming up. These are definitely rustic and old, but like I said, they will clean up really nicely. So it's right here, and you can see how it kind of like blends in with the rocks, but you can see it's like little broken there. So that's how you can identify it as a shell. But yeah, some of these are really old, which make them really interesting. Ugh, this has a lot of gook in it. Ooh. But yeah, check out the age on this. That is crazy. I don't know why such old ones are washing up. We haven't had really crazy surfs. The other thing I can think of is that because it's a negative tide today, there's a lot of beach that hasn't been uncovered for a while. So this is huge. So again, I will take this home, clean it up, and show you what it looks like. Hopefully some of that blue stays on it once we scrub it up. But finding some really old moons today. So another good sized moon shell coming up around this corner as we are making our way through the tide pools. This one is empty. And it is a really nice size, about medium, and it is beautiful. But we'll leave it here again for a hermit friend. So we're hanging out in the rocks here because a lot of things get trapped in between them, like those big mega moons, surf clams, a bunch of different things. And down here, it appears to be a gigantic surf clam that is alive. You can see its siphon that's peeking out through the top right over there. But we'll reach in and pull this out. Nice to get an up close look. And for those of you who enjoy seafood, these giant surf clams are the ones that are generally found in clam chowder. So put this back in the water, safe inside up. Let it bury itself a little bit. And we will press on. Some nice mussel shells here. I know Carlene, when you watch this channel, you get sad when I walk by the mussel shells. So here's a good one for you. It's got a really nice shimmer on the inside from that nacre. But this is a blue mussel, and I don't know if you watched the video I did a few weeks ago where we went to the bay side of Plum Island and we found that really awesome blue mussel shell, and it had that radial stripe that was going up along the outer portion of the shell, and it was beautiful. And I actually thought it was a different species of mussel, but it turns out that blue mussels can be blue, they can be purple, or they can have that blue purple combination and radial stripes that run along their shell. So I learned something that day, which was awesome. always fun to learn new things. So we're going to be heading up to that little area of beach right there, but take you through the tide pools on our way out. Ooh, there's a little hermit down there that has a really beautiful moon house. It's pretty gorgeous. Thank you for the visit. Sorry to scare you. We'll put you back. Bye. So those of you who have been watching for a while know that I also stopped to appreciate some really interesting rocks. So look at how gorgeous that is. So I have been collecting some rocks for someone, for a friend. His name is Beverly. So Beverly, I will be sending this beauty out to you. It is a really nice rock. I really like all the different layers and the different colors. Really, really gorgeous. Look at those lines. Nature is seriously incredible. In addition to that rock, there are some really beautiful periwinkles down here, but check out this slipper limpet. This slipper limpet is alive. So we will leave that here. Look at how beautiful some of these periwinkle shells are. Really, really gorgeous. And this is what the slipper shells do. Because they are a limpet, they attach themselves to rocks. And they have a little radula underneath on their foot, and it scrapes the algae. They're like little teeth, and that's what they feed on. And I don't see one on this rock, but they usually have a little indentation because it's kind of like a homing mark for them, where every time they go out and they wander and they eat, they come back to that same spot. So it eventually ends up wearing a little indentation in the rock, and that's where it basically lives. So cool. So a little fun fact about the New England area. In the past, I want to say 10 to 20 years, the ocean has been really warming up. And so we're getting a lot of species here that we've never seen here before. So an example of that would be in my nor'easter video where all that awesome stuff washed up on the beach. There was a blue crab that came up, and typically those don't come up higher than the Cape. So they stay south of us. But we're starting to see those here on Plum Island, fiddler crabs, and this past week we had a great white shark sighting, which they've been very active in Cape Cod, but now we're seeing a lot more of them here on Plum Island. So that just shows you, like, when there are changes in the environment, things adapt and species migrate. So yeah, so we're kind of excited about that, but then also it is a little bit concerning. You know, if you're swimming at the beach, do you really want to be swimming with sharks? I don't know. I only go into the ocean up to my ankles, and I kind of have that rule for myself. I saw Jaws when I was probably about 10 years old, and I haven't been able to shake it since. So I love that the great white sharks are here, but I will not be swimming with them. So we are back on the sand. We were just out in that little portion over there. That's where we were finding those crazy mega moons. We're back on the sand and just walking up the beach. These periwinkle and dogwalker colonies that are hanging out on these rocks are bananas. They're like everywhere. Like, I always have to stop and take a look at them because they're fascinating. But every single one of, like, these rocks out here is covered with them. Look at how amazing some of these tide trees are. I don't know if that's an official name or just what people on the island call them, but they're all these amazing tide trees that the tides create when they pull the water out from the sand. Some of them are really beautiful. but they go all along the tide line. There's some really cool rope here that looks very New England, laying on the beaches, covered with all that sea moss and seaweed. Probably from an old anchor line. It could be from lobster traps. If I had to put my money on it, I would say lobster traps. But it's always fun to follow the ropes on the beach, and then you get to a point where like they sink down into the sand, and if you ever try to pull them out, you will break your back because they go deep. Because you don't know, there could be a lobster trap on the end of that sunken down into the sand. There could be anything, but it is very rustic, just laying here on the beach, and I wanted to share it with you. When the tide is in, it goes all the way up to where that wet portion on the sand is, and sometimes even higher when there's a king tide or when there's crazy weird weather. But all of these rocks are submerged and well underwater. So when we come out here together and we're exploring them, we're like technically walking on the ocean floor. So that's so cool. So thank you all so much for shelling with me today. It was an awesome beach adventure. We found a lot of great shells, and I'll see you next time we hit the beach. Bye.